In this tutorial, you will learn everything you need to know about Scratch. You could think that Scratch is for kids, but it isn't. It is really useful when you're just getting started with programming or game development. To start Scratch, go to scratch.med.edu. You can download Scratch and work there, but we are going to do on this website. Click Join Scratch, then write your name. I will use GLTC tutorial. Then create your password. Then type the same password again below it. Then select the country you're in. Then enter your date of birth. Choose your gender. Then enter your email. Click Create Account. Then verification email will be sent to your email. Click Confirm my account. Then you'll be taken back to Scratch. And now it's all set. To create the project, click Create over here. Now your very first Scratch project is created. On the upper left corner, there's few different tabs. There's buttons for changing between the tabs, and right below that is Blocks menu, where you can find blocks of code. And at the bottom there's a backpack. This is a place where you can store sprite, codes, and sounds. And here's code area, where you can program your sprites using the code blocks from the blocks menu. And here's few buttons for zooming in and out. And this area is stage, where your programmings will be performed. And this is sprite pane, where you can change the location and settings of the sprite. Here's sprite list, where you can select which sprite to program. And at the right corner of that there's add sprite button. Right beside that is stage pane, where you can add, program, and edit your stage background. Now we are going to start programming. Let's go to the Motion tab and drag the Move block. You can click on blocks in the code area to run them. Click on Move block and the cat will move. Head blocks run the blocks below them when the condition is true. Drag the when green flag is clicked block and put it right over the Move block so they snap together. Now when you click the green flag right over here, the cat will move. Now you can also add more sprites to your project using this Add Sprite button. Click it, then choose the one you like. I really like this bowl sprite. I will click it, then it will be added to your sprite pane. I think the stage is too empty. I want to change the background. Click Choose a Backdrop button, then choose what you like. I will use Basketball 1. Click it, and it looks way better. Now I will explain all the blocks one by one. First, we'll talk about motion blocks. Motion blocks allow you to move your sprite around the stage. First, we are going to talk about Move block. Move block is the simplest way to move your sprite. Just change the value here to increase or decrease the distance of movement. Go to or glide to the mouse pointer or random position, which will move the sprite toward the mouse pointer or to the random position on the stage. You can also go to or glide to the position you want by changing the coordinates. You can also change the direction a sprite is pointing in. This changes the direction that the sprite will be when you're using Move block. It may also change the rotation of the sprite's costume, depending on the rotation style setting. Click the direction, then few things will appear. You can drag this arrow sign to change the rotation by yourself. Also, there are 3 buttons below that. This is rotation style setting. First one is all around, which will let your sprite rotate in all 360 degrees. Second one is left and right, which will let your sprite to face only left and right side. Last one is do not rotate, which will make your sprite non-rotatable. When you add a sprite, it will be facing right 90 degrees by default. You can change this in the sprite pane as I showed you before, or using code blocks. Turning blocks will let your sprite to turn left or right using the value right over here. Pointing direction block will set the rotation according to the value right over here. Point toward block will make your sprite to face toward the sprite you want or to the mouse pointer. Set rotation style block will let you change the rotation style directly while programming. If an edge bounce block is really useful when you want to make sprite bounce around and stay on the stage. You can also change and set X and Y coordinates and get their values to use in other blocks. Change X by block will let you move the sprite according to this value in X direction. Set X to block will set the X coordinate of the sprite according to this value. Change Y by block will let you move the sprite according to this value in Y direction. Set Y to block will set the Y coordinate of the sprite according to this value. Now we are going to talk about look blocks. Look block controls the sprite's appearance on the stage. You can make sprites communicate using looks, through a say speech bubble, a think bubble, or through their graphic effects. Say for seconds block will make your sprite talk for a declared second. Say block will make your sprite talk forever until the next say or think block is used. Think for second block will make your sprite think for a declared seconds. Think block will make your sprite think forever until the next think or say block is used. You can make your sprite bigger or smaller using change size block and set size block. Change size block will add the size declared to the current size. Set size block will set your sprite size according to the value here. There's also blocks for graphic effects, which allows you set or change a range of visual effects, such as color, fisheye, whir, pixelate, mosaic, brightness, and ghost. Color effects will change the color of your sprite. Fisheye effect will make your sprite look like it is reflected on the fisheye mirror. Whir effect will make your sprite whir from the middle. Mosaic effect will make your sprite mosaiced. Brightness effect will make your sprite look brighter. Ghost effect will change the opacity of your sprite. Change effect block will increase or decrease the strength of the effects according to the value here. Set effect block will set the strength of the effects according to this value here. Clear graphic effect will clear all the effects applied to the sprite. You can change your sprite's costume using switch costume block and next costume block. Switch costume block will change your sprite's costume according to this selection. Next costume block will switch your sprite's costume to next. You can see all your costumes at costume pane right here. You can also use switch backdrop and next backdrop blocks to change the backdrop of our stage. Switch backdrop block will switch the backdrop of the stage to the backdrop you choose right here. Next backdrop block will change the backdrop to the next backdrop. You can see all your backdrops from the backdrops pane. This will appear when you select stage. Let's go back to our sprite. The show and hide blocks controls the visibility of a sprite. Now to change how your sprite appears in relation to each other, you can use layers block. There's go to layer block and go layer block. Go to layer block will move your sprite forward or backward. Go to layers block will move your sprite forward or backward according to the value here. Now we're going to talk about sound. To add sound to your project, we use sound blocks. For example, you can create a continuous background soundtrack, or add sound that places some conditions. To see the sounds, go to the sound pane right here. This is the sound we have for this sprite. And this is sound wave trimming area, where you can see the sound wave. And here are sound editing tools, where you can find tools like copy, paste, delete, and so on. And these are sound effect tools. You can find tools like faster, slower, louder, softer, and so on. And this is choose a sound button. You can use it to record, add, and import the sounds. First, I will show you how to add sounds. Click choose sound button, then choose the sound you want. You can click this play icon to preview the sound. When you've chosen the sound you want, you'll be taken straight back to the sound pane. And now you'll see that sound we choose has been added. Now, as I told you, we can also record the sound we want. Hover over the choose a sound icon, then click record. When you're ready, click the record button to start recording. Scratch is really easy. Click the stop recording button to stop recording of your sound. Your new recording will be shown. You can re-record your sound if you don't like it. Drag the orange circle to crop your sound. The part of the sound with blue background will be kept, and the orange color parts will be cropped. Click the save button when you're finished. Then you'll be taken straight back to the sound pane. If you switch to the code pane and look at the sound blocks menu, you'll be able to select a new sound. Add code to run sound blocks where you want sound in your project. Once you have chosen your sounds, you may want to change the volume, pitch, or pan, so you hear the sound from left or right hand speaker. You can use set volume block to set volume from 0 to 100. Pitch block to control how high or low sound is. Pan left or right effect to control whether a sound comes out of a left or right hand speaker, or headphone, or both. Now, blocks in events menu control when scripts are started. Head blocks run the blocks below them when a particular event happens. They are rounded at the top, like head, so no blocks can go above them. You can use when green flag is clicked block to run blocks below when the green flag above the stage is clicked. When this sprite clicked block to run the blocks when the sprite for this script is clicked. When stage clicked block to run the blocks when stage is clicked. This is only available when you're working in the code area for the stage. When key pressed block to run the blocks when key you declared is pressed. You can also use when backdrop switches block to start a script when the backdrops change. The when block has two versions. When loudness, which run the blocks when the microphone detects sound bigger than this value. When timer block to run the blocks when the timer reaches this value. The last two blocks in the events menu are broadcast blocks. You can use a receive block to start a script when any sprite broadcasts the same message. Control blocks control the order that blocks run in, including decisions and loops. The wait block delays for a number of seconds before running the next block. Loops control how many times the code inside them runs. There are also two types of this, repeat and forever. Repeat will repeat the group of code for declared amount, but forever will repeat the block inside until we click red button here or by using stop block. There are three options for the stop block. Stop all, which stops all scripts in all sprites. Stop this script, which will stop only script that contains this block, and leave the others. Stop other scripts in sprite will stop all running scripts in the sprite except the sprite that contains this block. The if then and if then else blocks are used to make decisions about which code blocks to run next. This is sometimes called selection. The if then block checks an operator block inside this hexagonal shaped space and uses that as a condition and runs the code inside. If the condition is true, the if then else blocks has an additional selection to run the code blocks inside if the condition is false. You can find hexagonal shaped blocks to use as condition in the operators and sensing blocks menus. The wait until and repeat until blocks also use conditions. Wait until block will delay the script until the condition is true. Repeat until block will repeat the blocks inside until the condition is true. A clone is a copy of a sprite. It has costumes, scripts, and sounds, held by the sprite it was cloned from at the time of cloning. There are a number of blocks that can be used to clone sprites. With the create clone block, a sprite can create a clone of itself or of another sprite in the project. The when I start as a clone head block is used to trigger new scripts once the clone has been created. The clone will exist in the project until the delete this clone block is used. Using the when I start as a clone head block then including the create clone block in the script underneath means it is also possible for clones to create another clones. So when I start as a clone block will run the script when the clone is created. Delete this clone will stop the clone script and deletes it. There is maximum number of clones a sprite can have. At the time of writing, this is 300. Most of the sensing blocks are used to get users' input, detect conditions, and respond on values in your project. There are several hexagonal sensing blocks that you can use in controls blocks to make decisions and control when blocks run. The touching block has options for detecting whether the sprite that owns the script is touching the mouse pointer, the edge of the stage, or another sprite. There are blocks for detecting whether the sprite that owns the script is touching another color, or whether a color on this sprite is touching another color. The key pressed block has an option for number, letter, and arrow keys. It detects whether the key is currently being pressed. The mouse down block detects whether the mouse is currently pressed. The ask and answer block are used to get text input from the user. The sensing blocks menu also contains several reporter blocks that can be used to get variables, like distances to mouse pointer. You can also detect the current position of the mouse pointer using mouse X and Y. You can also detect the current position of the mouse pointer using mouse X and Y. You can detect the loudness of sound from the microphone. The timer block starts counting when the project loads, and can be set back to 0 via reset timer block. You can also access reporters for the stage and other sprites using off block. They are reporters related to the date and time in the real world, in your local time zone, like current block and days since 2000. The operators block are used to compare variables and values, do calculations with numbers, and work with strings. The hexagonal boolean blocks are used as conditions, and returns true or false. These blocks can be used in control blocks with a hexagonal input. Comparison operators are greater than, less than, and equal to. There are also math operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. You can choose random numbers between the smallest and largest number using pick random block. The AND, OR, and NOT operators can be used to combine conditions. There are also blocks for working with text. Join blocks join two different words together. Letter block will tell you which letter is at the word according to the value here. Length block will tell you the length of the word. And contains block will tell you if the word contains the letter. A variable is a way of sorting numbers or text. You can make your own variables and choose whether they show on the stage. To add a variable, click on Make Variables button in the Variable Code tab. Then type the name of your variable. You can choose whether you like your variable to be available to all sprites or to only this sprite. Then press OK. You'll see that your variables have appeared. There are only few blocks for variable. Set to block will just set the value of your variable. Change by block will change your variable by the number declared. And for last, show and hide variable which will show and hide your variables appearing from the stage. Now there's also My Blocks. My Blocks allow you to create new blocks for a sprite. You can give the name and define what the new block does using the other Scratch blocks. You can use your new block in any script on the sprite that owns the block. But we're not going to talk about this because this is a little more advanced. Now there's also extensions library which allows you to add new blocks to the blocks menu with additional features. Click on this button right here and you'll see few extensions like music, pen, video sensing, text-to-speech, translate, Makey, Microbit, Lego Mindstorm, Lego Boost, Lego Education, and Go Direct Force and Isolation. We are going to use this later. Now let's start programming. Now let's make a simple programming. I will make character move. So to make character move using keys, the simplest way is going to events and bring the when space key is pressed and duplicate this 4 times and 3 times total, and change this to up arrow, down arrow, right arrow, and left arrow. I'm going to change the backdrop to something like coordinates XY grid to explain to you more well. So look, let's go back to our sprite. So as X decreases, it goes backward, and X increases, it goes forward. XY increases, as Y increases, it goes upward. As Y decreases, it goes downward. So let's bring the X and Y, change X, change Y value, and put this inside X by right and left only, and Y by up and down. So up is 10, down is negative 10, right is 10, left is negative 10. Then if we start to make this in the position when it's starting like 0, 0, I'm going to bring the, when green flag is clicked, and bring the go to X and Y. Set it to 0 and 0. And if we start, now we got a nice moving cat. But you know, this isn't what I really want. It is a bit like, look, it doesn't move like smoothly. So in order to make it smoothly, I'm going to delete everything except the green flag. Bring it uphold. From control panel, bring forever and bring if block. Then from operators tab, bring, and from the sensing tab, bring key pressed, and duplicate this for total 4, so 3 more, and then change this to up arrow, down arrow, right arrow, and left arrow. And as we did before, bring change X and change Y, and duplicate this, Y in the up and down, X in right and left. Change down by negative 10, left by negative 10. Now when you click green flag, it's going to move a lot more smoothly. It goes in a like this. We can have a nice moving, but you might think this is too fast. So let's decrease the value by 5 each. So negative 5, negative 5, 5. Then it will be a lot more slower and smoother. To increase the value, you just need to increase the value here. Velocity minus 15, 15, and negative 15 again. Here we are. Go back to the full screen mode, and now it became a lot faster. There we go. This is just a simplest way to make our character move. So you might think, in lots of games we move the character by WASD keys, and you also want to move with this arrow keys. In that case, we are going to use OR operator. Duplicate this and bring it inside, and copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, and then change up to W, down to S, right to D, left to A, the first one. Now put it back. And if you go back, when you press arrow keys, it will move. When you press the WASD keys, it will also move. Now, you might think how to move the character, move the sprite to the point of the mouse pointer, to where the mouse pointer exists. To do that, delete this long blocks and change the and put inside, move 10 steps, and above that, right above that, we're going to put point toward mouse pointer. As you see, we got a nice cat following the mouse pointer, but the problem is when you met, it's going to be like this. So just in the case, make it not touch it. Okay, this is all. And to move, so you know how to move now. Then it's easy. Now you know everything about moving characters, the basics of basics. Now you might think, now let's delete it, and you might think that how to make my character speak or ask questions to me. So it's just like simple Q&A questions. To do that, as I said before, we are going to use sensing block and ask block in the sensing block. Now ask what's your name. We're going to change this to as, I know, what is 10 plus 20? It's 30, right? And we're going to bring the answer. And also, in operators tab, we're going to print equal sign. So answer equals 30, and bring the in the control tab, if item then else. Now if answer is equal to 30, then print, let's print great job. And if it isn't, let's print practice more. And now we've got a nice moving character, and now we've got a nice Q&A question. So what is 10 plus 20? 10 plus 20 is 21. Let's print 21. Practice more. So this was how to use Q&A in Scratch. Now let's talk about something like, what was it? Now let's say we want to make a ball bounce, bounce, bounce when it touches something. So let's delete the sprite, add a new sprite. I'm going to add a ball, no, basketball this time, and change the background to basketball field. Now it looks great. And then it's really easy. Go to events. When the green flag is clicked, forever, motion, move 10 steps, and then operators, pick random from 45 to 90. No. Just bring the bounce when edge bounce. Then it'll just go like this, this. Okay. Now if you might think that it should move like a bouncing ball. Like if it not touches the floor, it should go like bouncing like that. And we're going to make that right now. So let's make it like turn 15 degrees at the first time. It'll go like at the first time it'll go like this. Then now nice. Every time it starts, it's going to change its direction. Now let's say you want to add a block, and if this ball touches block, you want it to bounce in a 45 and negative 45 degrees. Let's bring our button block, yes, and bring it a little down, and go to costumes. I'm going to delete this inner part, outer part, and going to scale this like this, and now it's going to scale it like this, and now we got a bouncing ball, plate, and now we have a code here: events when green flag is clicked forever, set x2. Now first we're going to go to 0, yes, 0, and set x2. There is something called in the sensing block mouse X. Then it will just move like this, right? You see? And it's a little bit too up, so I'm going to put it 60, minus 60, a little bit good. No, still not good. Minus 300. Too low. Minus 200 is enough, I think. Yes, no, it's not still enough. 100, 150. Yeah, I think this is enough. And we are going to make it bounce when it touches the plate, right? So in the basketball, bring control if sensing, go to sensing touching, button 3, operators, pick random from 75 to 7. Wait, let's see. 75, 45 to minus 45. Yes, it's better. To 45 to negative 45. Now, if we put this like motion, set, rotation, pointing direction, and put it inside, and put it inside the block, and it start again, it's going to bounce when it touches this. Boom. Very smooth. But it's actually a random, so it's not going to bounce as you want. But it's still okay. We're ready to make our first game with this. You know the brick breaking game? Oh, lots of people I saw playing it. So let's make that game. So we just need more buttons, and then put it above a few blocks. And set size to like 50. No, not 50, 70. Yeah, 70 is enough. And when green flag is clicked, we are going to set its position here. Repeat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Five times. We are going to use the clone, as I told you, create a clone of myself. And go as like 10 steps. No, 50. 50 steps. Will it be enough? No, 60, 70. 70. Yes, as you see, we have this nice. We're going to do this 6 times, but in 60 steps. No, 65 steps may be enough. Yes, this is enough. Yes, then we're going to copy the basketballs, the holding the basketball once more and touching the button 2. If it's touching the button 2, pointing direction, what was it? Minus 35, minus 135, and 135. Now then, we're going to use something like forever. No, we're going to use 7 times and hide myself. Yes, it's better. Here from beginning show. Yes, it's good. And then when I start as a clone, forever if touching the basketball, we're going to delete our clone. Okay, let's start. 1, 2, you see? Easy. We made a nice simple game. This was how to make a simple game using a bouncing feature in... This is how to make a simple game using a bounce feature in Scratch.